And we're back. Larry, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello? Oh, good. So anyway, what I was saying is, so that's only part of it. So the parallel to what Putin's doing, it even goes even further. If you go back even before 1941 and the Pearl Harbor attack, look at when Hitler took over Europe. Everybody thought, he was negotiating, and everybody thought, he was going in and taking little countries. But nobody could see, nobody could read between the lines what his intent was. I mean, here, they never thought he was going to invade England. And if I remember correctly, it seemed to me, even Churchill, I think they were negotiating, and everybody thought that it was only, this was never going to become what it ended up becoming. And this is what I'm trying to get at with when you're comparing Putin to not reading him for what he truly is or has always been. So it's like we were laying back, not even realizing just who the monster was in our own midst, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole thing, what I'm getting at with Hitler. No one ever thought, he was just going in and getting, was it the Sudetenland or Czechoslovakia? And here all of a sudden, he's going into France. He's going into England, bombing the heck out of England. No one even thought it was coming, because here they just never did. And taking it one step further to how you started the show with the FBI person, this is the situation now within our own midst with people we deal with on a daily basis. Look at the people, the con men that have taken from others. Look at the people that they find out, this person isn't who we thought they are.
Okay.
All of a sudden we find out that they have embezzled millions of dollars from the company where they worked. Look at Madoff. No one ever knew what was coming until it happened. No one ever could have imagined what he did. It's a financial crime, but it's the same idea as to what you were talking about with the FBI agent. You really don't know who someone truly is many times until you find out. And then when you find out, many times it's far and away too late. It's like closing the door after the horses have left the barn.
And the thing about it is that, when he took over Georgia and Crimea, they just, they're just small countries, not understanding he was coming for the Ukraine. And let me tell you this, he going for Poland next. He's going to rebuild this. And he is an architect, but he did it very slowly. Now, once he take Ukraine, it's over with. He come to get Poland. He's going to get what he wants to. But here's the situation. It's like a bully at school. At some point, you got to put him to what he says. I'm going to bomb. Well, guess what? We all got to die. But if you don't stop him, he is going to invade bigger countries and he's going to take them by force. We know that all this time he has been building up the military. They said that I think that the military, that they have a military of over 225,000. They only sent 75,000 over there. They didn't send a lot of people over there. But let me tell you this. This is only the beginning. And we as Americans got to make a decision. I do believe this. It's like the dope man coming on your block. I'm going to stay on my dope. But if you try to go against me and call the police, I'm going to kill you. Leave me alone and let me do me. And I'm going to leave you alone and let you do you. I do not see him as a threat to the United States. I do not see him as a threat to Germany or France or Britain, because that's not his. He coming back for what he feel was taken from him. And he's coming back to build the USSR in its prominence as it once was, which will be the largest country in the world. And the reason that the Russian people believed and trusted him is that when Yeltsin was in, they had a broken economy. Now they've got most of the wealth, a portion of the wealth in this world is from Russian people who have taken that money, stolen it, invested it, and those people are billionaires. They're running banks. And the thing about it is that in exchange, he appeased the people by letting them have the trappings of Western, you know, having different companies coming over there, KFC, different things, you know, appeasing them. But now he ready to be business as usual. And it's gonna be, and the thing about with the Swift Bank, you know what I'm saying? And that's the centralized banking. Baby, they got that money in cryptocurrency. They have already figured out what United States was gonna do. And when they did it before, it didn't do nothing. It was like, okay, fine.
That's why Biden, when at the press conference, they asked him this week a couple of things. There was two questions that are very poignant. The SWIFT thing is one of them. He did not commit to an answer. They asked him why he didn't sanction SWIFT, and guess what? He did not give them a definitive answer. He avoided the question for that very reason, because he knows that they were one or two steps ahead of him, and he did not want to look like the weakling that people may have perceived him to be. That's why he didn't want to commit to an answer. And then the other thing that he said was very interesting was about him being an adversary. They said something about, if you remember, something about classifying Putin as a worthy adversary, and you know, it's kind of like they always knew he was an adversary, but I believe that Putin probably looked at Biden as a weak link. I think he looks at our country with our leadership as being weak. I do not believe that if Trump were in power, that he would not, I don't think he would have treated the situation the same if Trump were in power. And this is a matter of perception as to how he perceived Biden. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
You know, I can't prove that one way or another, but that's how I looked at it, because he did have when he went over there for this conference or whatever, I just think the whole thing was, you know, the whole thing was a joke for him to go over there like that.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Sarge.
Thank you.
Sarge.
Hey, Miss Vonda, this is a real pleasure to talk to you. I listen to you all the time.
Thank you.
I sit in your courtroom sometimes and listen to some of your cases. And you take no lawyer, a judge, you know. And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that somebody is standing up, but you know, for what you think is right. Just a little couple of things. That guy that was saying we should never do this, we should never do that. He was like 2 callers ago. Well, if we had never get involved in the Civil War, we'd still be slaves. You know, and you gotta stand up sometimes. And one thing you're talking about white people, black people, well, I'm serving 24 years in the Marine Corps, and bullets have no name on it.
That's right.
Asian, white, or whatever. Bullets have no name.
And Sarge, would you say this?
Here in America are finding that out right now, that and that judge, she was, I believe, Asian, that sentenced that guy the other day, and she's getting ready to feel the wrath of God come election time because she was totally wrong. She went around the guidelines. You're a judge, you know what should have been done. Mm-hmm. But back to Putin. Putin's been planning this, no, put it this, Russia, USSR, whatever you want to call it. They've been planning this since World War II. If you look at your history, General Patton said gratefully that while we kept all of our soldiers over here right now, let's take out Russia. And the United States did not want to do it. Mm-hmm. They said, let's deal with them. Putin's not negotiable.
No.
This guy is one of the, and Trump said he's a genius. He's not a genius. People thought Hitler was a genius. Hitler was a madman just like Putin is.
I agree. Thank you so much for your comment. Benjamin?
Hello. Good afternoon, Judge Evans. First of all, the people have got this thing wrong. When you talk about America, FDR forced Japan. They knew that they was going to be attacked within 30 days prior to them being attacked. Instead of them pulling our soldiers, because you have a lot of Japanese on the island, and yet the Japanese mimic our soldiers, who, when Japan bombed us, if they would have bombed their own people. But let's step back for a minute. What happened, we had an embargo on them. And for FDR, who wanted to be a war president, what he did was put an oil embargo on it. And everything runs on oil. Now, let me ask you a question. Would America allow any country to put an oil embargo on us? And let me say this forced Japan into attacking us. And let me say this, the president, FDR, he fired the guy that was head of the Navy, because the Navy, he had been forewarned. But FDR removed him. But let me say this, when I had to Google Tyler Kent had records of Churchill and FDR talking about how we're going to get America into the war. And by the way, after Churchill, most people look at Churchill as a hero. He was a common drunk and a murderer. And let me explain why. When England had Poland and the generals fighting on their side, the general of Poland got tired of Churchill's stuff and said, I'm going to get on a plane and go talk to Hitler personally. And the general took his daughter. Their plane accidentally blown up, killed the Polish general and his daughter. But let's get better. The general hit it on the head. Patton said, look, Russia is at its lowest ebb. Let's take them right now. And by the way, they murdered Patton, the best general that America ever had. The American government murdered Patton. But let's look at what happened when the American government decided not to take Russia when they was at the lower point. Stalin walked in and took all those countries that went Czechoslovakia, you name it. He took every one of them. And by the way, Churchill was talking with his son. He said, well, how are we going to win this war? He said, we're going to involve the Americans to bring them in. So believe me, I'm an expert on this. I'm 74 years old, and I've been studying this for over 30 years. And by the way, I got 5,000 books at my house. And it's basically topics. You starting from the Civil War, the Spanish War, coming all the way through. And not only that, I are the hard to find books, which I have to pay a lot of money for a lot of times. So the first conquest of any war is the truth. People start lying, and they're talking about democracy while they're trying to keep you and me from voting.
That's right.
But we can go 6,000 miles and talk about we're taking these people in for democracy. That's incredible.
Yes, it is.
And
Listen,
we don't even have the intelligence to say, you know what? You're trying to take away and abuse our people, killing our young people and our children. We're not going to the next war.
we'll be back with Vonda's Court Unfiltered.